everybody, it's me, San Martin, and I am on the scene right here in good old Crossings in Prescott, Arizona. And I tell you what, you're going to want to listen to this video right now because I said so. Because it could possibly help you out. So without further ado, tell everybody who you are and what makes you famous.
Yeah, so my name is Paul Neal. I'm the co-founder of WholeMind Healing Pathways. We're a ketamine clinic here in Prescott, Arizona.
Man, I tell you what, there's so much conversation going on about this specific scenario, and let's just get involved with it. I mean, what made you want to be involved with this?
Yeah, so I've been in mental health for about 15 years. Kind of fell into it by accident after nursing school, but in my first year of practice, my brother committed suicide.
Oh my gosh.
I was working on a child adolescent psych ward at the time, and that really kind of cemented my passion for mental health. Not only for myself, but also for others. I was deeply moved and disturbed by the passing of my brother. So a lot of what I did was to kind of figure myself out, and in the process helping other people figure theirs out. So that is the beginnings of what led me to this.
You know, in most cases, this is one of the reasons why a lot of things happen for people. You know, something just triggers it, and something just calls saying, hey, you know, you need to start doing something bigger with your life. And unfortunately, because of what has transpired in your life, I mean, that kind of like just sent you to the edge. Like, dude, what do I do with this, and how do I fix this?
Yeah.
And the same thing goes with my father. You know, he had a little bit of a scenario with his life, and ever since then, it's just like, now I want to be very proactive in my life, so I could go ahead and prepare myself for the future with what this world is offering. And I tell you what, it's a little crazy out there.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about why specifically this drug.
Yeah. So ketamine is a really beautiful medicine to work with. It's extremely safe. So it's been in use prolifically in hospitals since the 1960s. The World Health Organization actually stocks it worldwide as an emergency reserve medication. That's mainly for the medical side of things. About 20 years ago, they discovered that it has some effects on depression. People were going into surgery. They were coming out telling their surgeon, hey, doc, my depression's gone, which is not normal after a surgery.
Wow.
And so after enough of this kind of anecdotal evidence came up, then they started looking into it and researching it for depression, anxiety, PTSD, substance abuse, all kinds of things.
Wow, it's kind of insane how that just a little moment where you're just like going in on a very stressful moment, no matter what kind of surgery that you're going through, but all of a sudden you come out, you're like, hey, did you take out that piece of my brain that is not having issues on a regular basis? So let's just talk a little bit about how this has evolved, and now it's actually, you know, it seems like there's a lot of treatment centers that are coming up and popping up. But let's talk about, you know, the idea of where you're headed with it and what kind of people you're directing your attention to.
Yeah, so we're actually, there's a lot of people moving into the space. You'll see them kind of popping up here in town. Prescott, even as small as we are, has 2 or 3 different providers that are providing ketamine. With the direction that we're heading is actually trying to take ketamine kind of to the next level. So we, following the research and following our own practice, have discovered that if you provide like therapy and integration alongside the ketamine, you don't need to take ketamine forever. Traditionally, in most clinics right now, what you're finding is that the clinics are providing ketamine continuously on month-to-month basis to help people manage their depression. When we introduce integration, we're finding that people don't need to take ketamine for the rest of their lives. They don't need monthly maintenance dosing. So they might do 6, 10, 12 treatments, but then all of a sudden they no longer need the ketamine to support them as they move forward in their life. And so part of what we do in the integration is not only are we digging into kind of the deep-rooted issues, childhood issues, early adulthood issues that cause them to have whatever their symptoms are when they're presenting to us, but we're also giving them the skills they need to manage their own mental health going forward. So it's meditation, it's journaling, it's different, you know, mind kind of tools that we provide and teach that allow you to have the ability to, say something bad happens, your pet dies or you lose your job, you don't spiral into the pit of depression that brought you into ketamine originally. You're able to manage that on your own. So
wow, it's kind of crazy. You know, we were driving down in Phoenix yesterday, and we started seeing a whole bunch of people that are homeless and like you know, putting themselves in a position where they think that the other drugs are what's going to go ahead and get them to like just forget about life in general.
Sure.
And I'm assuming that's one of the main reasons why a lot of them have already just said, I quit, I'm done.
Sure.
And I think that having another opportunity to live is something that I hear about what this specific medicine is doing. I know I said drug earlier, guys,
Yeah.
but I think in a mindful scenario that this could be an actual a start to a brand new opportunity. Now, you probably have treated a bunch of patients already, or clients, or whatever you may call them.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about their pathway and how it's actually helped them, and kind of like let's hear some success stories in regards to saying, hey, you know, this is something that is actually really making a difference in our community.
Yeah. I can. So I actually just met with one of my clients yesterday. He's a young guy. He's a veteran. He's going through one of the hardest times of his life right now. When I first met him, he was dealing with a lot of PTSD from childhood and from his military service. At that time, he was in a relationship with a partner, and they were pregnant, and so he was trying to be the best person he could be. And through the course of that treatment, we did get him to a point where he was able to hold down his job. He was making adjustments to their house, you know, doing some remodeling for the baby to come. And then, unfortunately, things kind of fell apart.
Wow.
And so, but what we're seeing is, as we continue to work with these people, they have the ability and the resilience to keep going. And so that's what I'm seeing in him. So even though he's facing great adversity right now in his life, he has the resilience to do so. He's not showing up crying anymore. He's not showing up in huge distress. He's like, I just need to get some strength. I need to get some clarity, and I need to move forward. And so he's one of the toughest cases that I've had. So another gentleman, so I had another guy who was a retired police officer, 30-something years on the force. And he came in and he had a beautiful experience. He came in for 6 sessions, and he was at that ability to connect with the divine. So he had this opportunity to talk to God, and that was what he needed to find the strength to survive.
Wow. It's kind of crazy that you would have to acknowledge some sort of, you know, I guess I should probably educate myself on this. What is actual ketamine? What is it?
Yeah.
Like, what is, where does it derive from, and how is it made, and where is it created from? Like, is this something that you can just pick up off the street?
No, it is prescribed.
I mean, well, not like that, guys. I mean, weed, you know, medicinal use, guys. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, so we order our ketamine through a pharmacy. It's a scheduled drug, so it has to be ordered by a medical provider. So our nurse practitioners, who are part of our practice, are the ones that allow us to order it and prescribe it. We don't prescribe it, we just administer. They're doing the prescription of it. Ketamine is fully synthetic. It's not derived from any plant compounds, unlike a lot of medications out there. Originally, it was used as a dissociative anesthetic, which means it makes you feel separate from your body and no pain. But at the doses that we use, you do still get the separation from your body, but you don't get as much of the pain relieving effect like they use in surgery. Our doses are about 1/10 of what they use in a surgical suite. So it's a very, very safe dosing. And ketamine is psychedelic. For some people, they do have visionary experiences while they're in the medicine. And so typically in one of our sessions, people come in, we check in vital signs, and when we administer the medicine, they put on an eye mask, they put on headphones with curated music that we select, and they go for about a 45-minute journey.
Wow.
And so oftentimes they come out of that with deep revelations. You know, oh my gosh, I saw the path ahead of me, or I saw this perspective in my life, or I saw this imagery that made me think of something else. But that's only one kind of part of the aspect of ketamine. Ketamine for us is really a tool to get you to the point where your barriers drop. So it's really hard to talk about the darkest parts of your childhood, the darkest parts of your adult years, without having all the emotions come back up. Ketamine gives us the ability in that kind of hour to 2 after the administration of it to talk about really hard things and process them at a really deep level.
This is one of those eye-opening moments. You know, when you say synthetic, it's just like a lot of people will probably be like, "Oh man, you know, man-made drug, you know, or man-made substance, man-made something," and you know, it kind of discouraged, but at the same time, it's just like, dude, it's showing, it's proving that it's actually doing something that is relieving people from their stresses of life and getting them like another opportunity of sorts of saying, hey, you know, we could actually really make this work.
Yeah.
Especially in the state of mind that we are all in right now. And I know that I'm not the only one that is acknowledging half the stuff that's going on in this world.
Absolutely.
I mean, gas prices, come on.
Yeah.
That right there, distress alone, you know?
Gas prices in another war.
and you know, when you add a little bit of extra stuff onto your plate, that's kind of like, it stresses you out.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about how a person that is out there right now that's looking for a way to to reset. I guess I would call it, and a way to have preventative maintenance rather than getting to that point of like, oh man, I don't want to be here in this world.
Exactly.
And you know, you said it earlier about the suicide portion of it. I mean, we have a very big population and mostly males that are out there currently. I know that they hold the title of the ones that are committing suicide.
Absolutely.
And I know as a male, you know, we don't want to talk about our problems. We don't want to freaking share with anybody. They tell us to man up. And don't get me wrong, you know, a lot of people can man up and to take care of business, but a lot of them just go ahead and take that route. And that's something that can be changed if you want to go ahead and be helped.
Yeah.
So let's go through the process of anybody that's out there that is in need of a change. That, you know, how does it work? I mean, they obviously contact you and take it from there. What happens after that?
Yeah. So as soon as someone reaches out to us, they're looking at, we usually schedule them for a tour. So come into the clinic, see the space, come and sit down and talk to us. It's a free consultation. We do them all the time. We do a lot of education in those sessions. It's where we really sit down and explain everything that ketamine is, how we present it, how we offer it. And then we answer any questions they have at that point. Following that, we schedule them, if they want to continue with treatment, we schedule them for a visit with our nurse practitioner. Our nurse practitioner makes sure that they are physically and mentally well enough for ketamine. And I didn't mention earlier, but you know, while ketamine is synthetic, it is a very safe drug used alongside lots of other drugs. So most people's antidepressants and the medications they're already taking, they don't have to come off of them to experience the benefits of ketamine. Where if you were to work with, say, psilocybin or some other psychedelic, almost all of those require you to come off of your medications, especially if you're on antidepressants. And so ketamine allows us to work with people that are in the midst of using a medication, whether it's an antidepressant or otherwise, to manage their mental health. And we can work with them at the same time. So they don't have to come off of it and go through the struggles of coming off of medication and then trying something else. So after they meet with our nurse practitioner, we usually set a date for someone to come in for a 1-hour coaching appointment. At that time, we kind of go over what the process is going to look like for them before we even get to the medication. So it's 1 hour to really prep them for it. We have a workbook. We talk about all the different kind of like activities and skills and things like that we're going to be going over throughout their treatment. And then we schedule them for their first visit. And typically people, if they have kind of more complex backgrounds, they're looking about 6 to start. And those sessions are 2 hours long. And so, yeah, following that, when someone's wrapped up with their treatment, however many sessions that takes, we'll set a 30-day follow-up after that. So they'll come back in for a 1-hour visit. How's it going? How are you doing? Do you need any extra skills? Do you need extra treatment? How are you feeling? Because it typically takes like 2 to 4 weeks for people to kind of come back to what their new normal is going to be.
Well, so it's definitely a process. It's not like, here you go, let me go ahead and just give you this dose and then freaking move on, move out.
This is not just a pill that fixes everything. Wow. We use the ketamine as a catalyst for change. Okay. It is not the change itself. It just is the thing that allows us to make changes very rapidly.
Wow. And just so you guys are out there right now, we've been throwing a little ticker on the bottom or up top, wherever you're seeing it right now, is telling you all the information of where they're located, their phone number, their website, I think maybe even their email, I don't know, but you can go to their website right now. We have it like ticking down the bottom or top or whatever it may be, just to let you guys know. And then we're also going to be posting their information because you guys have 100% wanted to step up, get the whole community to know that you guys are here, that you guys are ready to go ahead and serve that community that feels lost, or maybe have even tried other alternatives, such as the depression pills and counseling and whatnot, and it still feels like it's not working. I mean, this could be the last resort or it could be the first resort. So I think that this is an opportunity to kind of like just step in and see kind of what can really make a difference.
Absolutely.
Especially before you see yourself. And like I said, yesterday was an eye opener. You know, driving downtown Phoenix, Arizona, you were just like, wow. You know, a couple things just popped in my head, and where did it start? You know, we're to the point where they just gave up.
Yeah, it's a long path to get there. And I do suggest for anyone out there that is looking to optimize their life before it gets to that point where you're considering suicide or you're considering anything else. Truly, ketamine is very clean, very safe, and very effective. It's great for optimizing your life. I worked with a middle-aged professional not too long ago who he had a little bit of depression. So in a couple sessions, we wrapped that up and said, what else can we do with this? He had 4 left. And I was like, oh, let me tell you all the things we can do with this. So we optimize his workflow, optimize how his daily flow is, where he works out, how he functions at his job, putting into place all the different kind of skills that he can put in so that his day is more manageable and so he's not as frustrated. And so it's not just for depression. It is beautiful for depression. But for people and professionals out there that want to just optimize their life, you want to learn a new habit, ketamine induces a significant amount of neuroplasticity. So that's the same thing that allows a 5-year-old to learn Spanish like that. It puts you back into that same state as when you were a child.
Oh, wow.
And so you can learn new skills. That's why we use it as a catalyst to teach, is because it allows people to pick these things up. So say you want to learn, have a steady meditation practice. Doing that on your own takes like 300 days to establish a concrete habit.
Wow.
With ketamine, we can do it in 6 weeks.
Wow. I think we were talking about it prior to us even having this interview. And I think you were talking about how it could help people with ADHD. And I'm like, no, I kind of like my, some people might not like my ADHD, but I tell you what, I'm a full function ADHD.
Me too.
Oh man, I tell you what, I mean, so many things come up to mind, being at the age that I am at right now, so many ideas have happened over the years and what has actually tried to, keep me in line, I really believe that sometimes you need a little bit of help.
Absolutely.
Sometimes, some things are just made and they actually really do work. And so I consider this idea to really help. I mean, even if I were to go ahead and step in and try to be a part of this, it would be kind of like being at this age right now, you're just like, man, what else can I do as far as enlighten my brain and put myself into that state of mind where I can be greater and better. And I'm just resorting back to my day yesterday because it was just the most recent and hearing the speakers on the stage in regards to where they came from and where they're at right now. It's like, I feel like I have a whole nother life ahead of me. And I feel like I'm halfway through my life. So I'm just like, dude, there's so much more to go. And as I keep on doing my thing, I'm actually working. I'm actually making it happen. So I think that there's another opportunity in this town that we are living in right now. And just so everybody knows, tell them how to get a hold of you and your phone number, even though it's ticking on the bottom, guys. He's going to tell you right now.
So our phone number is 928-550-6705. You can call, text. For a lot of people, it's easier to text us. Just text, say, hey, I'm curious. And we'll start writing back to you and we'll set up a time to talk. So truly,
like, what are you doing today? What are you doing today? I was like, all right, man, you're now my text buddy. I love it. So, well, thank you for doing what you're doing. I think that there's, there's truth behind it, and we're going to be sharing down the road some testimonials of some of your patients, your clients, that have actually gone through the process and kind of seen where they're at currently right now. So we could have real live, actual, meaningful conversations of those that are actually involved with it. So it makes a lot of sense to go ahead and be a part of that. And we are also going to be doing an interview with the other co-founder of this amazing company, right? Is that the role that
we were both co-founders? And she's also my wife.
Oh, there we go. They're friends, more than friends, and they went in together. So if it means meaningful for you guys, I'm pretty sure it's going to be meaningful for this community. So with that being said, I got to get out of here. You guys better go back to work or watch us later. So with that being said, guys, peace, love, and happiness. Let it not be war. And remember, love always wins. We'll catch you guys later.
All right.
See you guys later.